Hello, and welcome to Industry Reactions. Industry Reactions is a weekly briefing on industry events, changes, and future trends that impact your business. We are your hosts, Kelly Kimball and Jeff Martin from ChemPoint. You can find Industry Reactions on YouTube, LinkedIn, and as a podcast. For those watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and smash that like button. We plan on discussing issues that impact the global industry and help you uncover new opportunities. We hope this will provide market intelligence that will help keep you ahead of changing conditions.
Thanks, Kelly. I know we've talked about transcontinental shipping quite a bit recently. Sources say that all-inclusive rates for the Trans-Pacific sailings in March have dropped significantly since the pre-Chinese New Year bookings. The shipping demand and the picture coming out of Asia in late February is still pretty up in the air due to the holiday as well as the Olympics over there, and that could really slow Asian exports. During this past week, they said bookings dropped from over $13,000 to $12,000, and so these premiums are still pretty stiff, but they think that's going to decrease across a lot of these regions. So many of the market sources kind of sitting in that wait and see approach to see whether or not the shipping constraints will actually ease up as we go further into 2022.
Makes sense. I don't even try to predict what will happen anymore because at this point I have no idea. Anything is possible.
Yep.
Moving on to cleaning. So the cleaning industry experts, they expect that intense cleaning to now be more of a long-term habit. They're predicting that this is no longer going to be a night shift task. Cleaning is something that they want people to see them doing, not just at night. It would be a stretch to say that the pandemic has made us stronger, but it certainly has made us cleaner. The cleaning industry has obviously seen a huge demand for products in the last 2 years from the pandemic, and they're saying that these changes are going to be with us for years to come. That's not exactly bad news for the chemical industry because all of the ingredients that go into cleaning products. And I would say that's not bad news for us either because the pandemic has made it seem like businesses and even consumers themselves kind of were lacking on their cleaning prior to the pandemic.
Yeah, I think you don't see the videos of people wiping down their groceries anymore, but hopefully,
Right.
hopefully people are, general cleanliness of areas that we all touch and are around a lot more. Maybe that will keep everybody healthier for the long term.
Yes, exactly. I hope so.
Next up, the coating additives market is expected to reach over $15 billion by 2030. To give you a little bit of context, in 2020, that market was valued at only $9 billion. So that's about a 5.5% increase year over year for the next, 8 years now. So hopefully that we see that. So coating, as I'm sure you're all aware, coatings are used in all kinds of different industries and markets. And the additives there are to help improve the properties of those coatings, whether it's putting a higher solids content, reducing foam, whether some of those coatings now are clean. Hark back to our last story, self-cleaning coatings as well is another additive there.
Right.
Rheology modification segment is the one that's supposed to dominate that market, and this year and going forward, that's supposed to be the largest growth as well. And we kind of see the growth across all of our different, applications as well as regions as well.
Pretty good growth. Okay, so U.S. sanctions that are targeting Russian energy flows other than the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline are seen less likely in the Ukraine standoff, although they are saying that financial sanctions and export controls are expected in the event of an invasion. This still poses risk to oil prices in the global commodity markets. The Biden administration has promised to level crippling economic sanctions against Russia if it does invade Ukraine. This also includes financial sanctions to restrict foreign capital and exports to block U.S. software and technologies that it says are essential inputs to Russia's strategic ambitions. Other options would be to ban Russia from dollar trades and blocking access to the international financial messaging service that's called SWIFT. Analysts actually both see both of these options as less likely because they would have massive consequences for the energy market and the global economy. Guess we'll just have to, again, wait and see what happens here.
Yeah, it seems like every day there's a new story about what's going on there, and they're counterintuitive. You never know which way is leaning towards. So
exactly.
Yeah, hopefully Putin decides to stay put. That was a bad one.
I'll take it. It's a good one.
Since we're kind of talking about energy anyways, the U.S. crude exports are expected to see a modest rise in 2020. 2022. And that's all to kind of feed on the price of oil. Price of oil is up to around $80 a barrel. Some people are expecting it to go on up to $100 a barrel towards the end of this year. But as we all know, the price of oil is very unpredictable. We do keep seeing the long-term investment in drilling rigs. So those are up again this week. We've seen pretty much a steady rise kind of since the lows of the shutdown COVID pandemic a couple of years ago. And so we'll see what happens there. That kind of all kind of goes, these are all the previous story of whether or not Russia's going to invade Ukraine is one of the inputs there as well. So kind of like you said, Kelly, a lot of wait and see.
Yep.
Things are steady this week. And so I think people are just having trouble making long-term predictions. And if we could see the future, we probably wouldn't be doing this podcast. We'd be betting money somewhere else.
Making lots of money. That's very true. Yeah. All right. And new product introductions and company announcements. A number of companies announced plant expansions this week. So BASF has expanded the production capacity of their enzymes plant in Germany. Through the expansion of the existing plant, BASF has significantly increased the annual number of feasible fermentation runs. The larger production capacity enables BASF to meet growing global demand from customers from a reliable, high-quality supply of BASF feed enzymes. The enzyme plant has actually already started production, and larger quantities of feed enzymes are already available.
Great. And the next plant expansion, Arkema boosted its PVDF capacity expansion in Changsha. So this is a 35% increase in the fluoropolymer capacity there in China. And it's actually supposed to grow up to 50% increase. And this is due to the strong demand for lithium-ion batteries. So, it's a really important market for all these electric cars as well as other battery applications. So as this capacity increases, Arkema plans to accelerate its development in China in order to meet the strong demand for its partner customers there for the battery business, and also to support the growth in the water filtration, specialty coatings, and semiconductor business there for these fluoropolymers.
Pretty cool. Lots of growth. Speaking of growth, Lanxess is expanding its production capacity for their active ingredient Preventol CMK. This is also at their Germany site, and they're expanding by about 50%. This is in response to the strong demand for their disinfectants and industrial preservation. This company invested a single-digit million euro amount for the expansion, and it's actually expected to be completed in the first quarter of this year. So very soon.
Yeah, so it seems with all these plant expansions and the ones that don't get press releases, hopefully a lot of our shortages are in the past.
Right. It doesn't seem that way. I'm just talking to suppliers out there, but once again, I'm not going to try to predict anything. I hope so. I hope 22 was a successful year.
Well, that's it for this week's edition of Industry Reactions, and we'll return next week for a fresh batch of news. So stay safe and stay healthy. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.